Lesson 83. The escape from fire. Troubles and worries are destined to come, and the way to win is not to run away from them, but to go through them with no fear. Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego lived in the very tough era when the Israelites were held captive in Babylon. That meant they should forget everything they knew about their customs and tradition and about their God and serve the beliefs of their captors. It was never easy because they didn't have the freedom of worship at the same time. They couldn't deny their God only for the fear of their captors and serve the foreign gods. So, they had a choice to make, and they needed courage and strength from God to stand by their decision. Even though they continued to devote themselves to God in a foreign land, God was with them, and He kept revealing Himself to them. They refused to eat the royal food of the palace and chose to eat only vegetables, yet they grew even healthier than the ones who were fed all kinds of meat. Their wisdom was way beyond those who were given the royal education, and they were held in high honor. To the point of being thrown into the fire, though it was fierce, they were not afraid to stand by their God and refused to worship other gods, and the Almighty God not only protected them from getting furnace, but joined them to encourage them on their faith. Extraordinary faith reveals extraordinary acts and brings you to the next level of salvation. Most of the time we lose our way because of worry and of fear. We face big challenges we cannot climb and give into our carnal flesh and lose control of our salvation. We have free will. We choose to follow the failed ways of this earth that brings us down physically, mentally and emotionally. We ignore the one true power of God which sustains all our needs, which gives us the strength we need to face any kind of trials and temptations that stand our way. No longer do you have to give in to the system of this world, gaining everything you need, but then lose your soul. No more do you need to lower yourself to anyone to get what you want. Only God is the one you need in your life, and it is better to obey God rather than men. He is above all and everything you ever thought or imagined, and with Him all things are possible. One of the lessons we learn from the three, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, is that they formed a bond so strong that whatever they agreed on stood, and no one would change their mind, and God was with them. It was their faith in God that delivered them, and God says without faith it is impossible to please God. God only needs a little bit of your faith to get through your situation. Yes, we face many troubles, but the belief that we can get through it without sinning is important. When we fall back and go the wrong way, that is a demonstration of lack of faith. But when we stand strong and follow His commands, it shows your maturity and your understanding of His instructions. It shows you put God first before anything else, and just as you favor God in your life, God will favor you in whatever you do. He says in Isaiah, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flame will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord, your God. Who is it that has power even over the fire?" The things that we think that are impossible, with God it is possible. You might think the fire was meant to destroy you, but with God, He can turn it into a wind. The things that you see in front of you that are meant to destroy you, God can turn it into things that can uphold you. It is not so much about the fire in front of you, but what really matters is how strong your character is, and are you willing to sacrifice your flesh in order to save your soul? Because the soul that sins dies, but the one who will give up everything for God's glory, God will glorify him in the end. Never give up on God, because God will never give up on you. Always do what is right before the eyes of God, and never bow down into the will of man, because we are held with credit when we obey God rather than man.